Alright, I wanted to take a look at this last war we did and do a little video for everybody to watch. We got matched up against a clan called the Gohype Masters, and we did a little research on them before the war started. And what we found out was they were pretty good at what they do. They beat us, you can see here, by 7 points. We had one attack that we missed. One of our guys decided to hop in the middle of the war. He was a little bit rushed and he didn't have the skills necessary to get out there and try to 3-star any of these bases. But, you know, overall we did well. I mean, we only lost one attack. So, where we failed to match up with these guys is in the 3-star category, obviously. That was the 7-point difference in us losing here. Where they produced the 26 3-stars, we only had the 19. So that's where we lost the war. And we're going to take a look at a little bit about them, and us, and talk about how this war played out. So you can look at their team right here. They executed 26 3-star attacks. But when you start scrolling down here, you see that they didn't just jump out there and 3-star every base they attacked. You know, they had a lot of guys trying things over and over again to produce those 3-star attacks. And so that's one of the gaps where we failed at. You can see I didn't have a really good war. My first attack, I got the haul, but I failed to get the 2nd star. My second attack against number 2 went really well, but unfortunately I got distracted playing around with my king and my Valkyries, and I missed my queen's ability, and that cost me the 3rd star, which in the end of the game, you know, wouldn't have won or lost the war, but still, little things like that can make a big difference in win or losing a war. But the Town Hall 9 category, for the most part, we just didn't produce the 3 stars necessary to be able to beat this team, and we did a good job against them. But overall, I think where we are at a clan up until this point, we've been a clan that's really good at upgrading our home bases, and we've lacked some experience in war because of that. I know when I was at Town Hall 9, and I've just reached 10 recently, I spent a lot of wars on the bench watching, because my heroes were always upgrading, which means I wasn't able to get out there and practice these war strategies the way that, you know, other teams have been able to do. And I'm not sure why. You know, it seems like they'd be spending the same amount of the bench as I have, but it looks like, you know, they're just a little more seasoned, and that's why they were able to overcome us here. But we're going to just take a look at a couple of the attacks on our bases and see what they did to us, and then we're going to look at a couple of the 3-stars we did on their bases and see how they stack up. So we'll take a look at this matchup against Mr. Freeze here. Number 13, this is the same as Town Hall 8. Once you have the level 5 hogs, you have your heal spell upgraded, and you've got your heroes in a good spot, you're really able to work anywhere in the Town Hall 9 range. At Town Hall 8, if you've got level 4 hogs, you've got your heal spell upgraded, you're pretty much able to 3-star any Town Hall 8 as well. So we're just going to take a look here and see what happened on Mr. Freeze's base. But unfortunately, we've got a little bit of Supercell's server lag going on, so we'll wait on that and see if it'll bring it up for us. There we go. Alright, here's Mr. Freeze's base. He tried to design an anti-3-star base, so you can see up at the top here he's got his haul pretty much given away, because the point of this is trying to hold that 3rd star. So let's see how they approached it here. It's going to be a Go Hog, and that's what won this war for them. They didn't beat us in the air with Go Lava Loons. It was all on the ground with Go Hogs. They only had, I think, maybe one successful 3-star with Lava Hounds and Balloons. So I haven't watched this since the war, but you can see here he's going to have 2 golems. The first one's clearing the path. They've got to get to that queen first. He's got his jump spell, so that's going to go straight over to the wall to the queen. This is just basic stuff. Here comes the king to help out. Actually, no, he used some wall breakers to breach the queen's chamber there, which worked out good. So now he's still got that heal spell. Queen's dead. He's going to keep moving forward a little bit more. Here comes the clan castle, but he's got the queen right there. Got a poison spell. Got a couple wizards left, and they're going to deal with that. Now I'll pause it right here. One thing I've never tried a lot in war is this approach. He's two-fingered his hogs on opposite sides of these defenses. And I guess a plus to that is, you know, your double bombs are going to be in the chambers on the left here, possibly one between the wizard tower and the archer tower on the right there. But just this guy looking at the base, he only had those 4 spots he was really worried about the double bombs. Maybe up here with the archer tower, but people don't put them there because they can be pre-triggerable, and so that's why the guy ruled that out and said, okay, I know where the bomb spots are going to be. So he's going to try to work around them here with the 2 fingers. So Queen just knocked out the dragon, so now the hogs are going to work. He's got 2 heals, just dropped his first one there. But the way these hogs are going to path now, you know, they're splitting around that double bomb spot. So he's triggered one of the double bomb, which is on this right side here, but he didn't take out the second part. And then the hogs come back together. He's still got his poison spell, so he's going to use that to take out the Larrys chasing down his hogs. Now you see the hogs are at pretty low health here, but you know, the archer tower was all that was left at that point. So do I think that this was the best executed war attack ever? Not really. It was pretty standard. I mean, these are things you can do with Goho. So he's going to move on, and we can fast forward here. The king got knocked out, so the hogs are now moving around the rest of the base and knocking out the structures. So let's talk about why a clan like this was able to beat us by 7 points. And the reason is they were much more comfortable doing this kind of attack. They weren't afraid to fail with it. And in my experience doing it at Town Hall 9, even if you have no idea where the double bombs are, you usually can walk through the base 70% of the time with a 3-star. So just attacking with that strategy over and over again, and we'll look at this again. Look at all these attempts from the enemy side that did not produce 3 stars. A 96% there, a 93%, 73, 80. Our bases were able to hold them several occasions, but it's just that they did the attack over and over again. And it's a rule of numbers. If you do it enough, it's going to work. And that's how they were able to overcome us in this war. Let's take a look if we can. See if we can find a base they didn't 3-star in the 9s. And that would be Slick Pro. So the best they got there was the exact same guy with 97%. So he's going to use the same attack strategy here. He's going to do the Goho attack. But this time, he just wasn't able to get all of the base destroyed. He's going to approach it basically the same way. He's going to have to kill the queen. He's starting down here. You know, she's going to lure all the way out to where that archer tower is. So he's jumping in, going ahead and moving his golems and wizards towards that point. He's got his heroes coming in behind. Now Slick had a little bit different of a clan castle, no dragon in there. And we've been mixing things up a bit just to kind of see how post-update with the poison spell, how things are affected more. And so the queen is still up for Slick. She's popping the king, but now it's down. So the king and queen are together, and they're taking out that side. And this time, landed right on a double bomb over there and took out a little group of hogs. But he's sandbagging 6 hogs, still has them in the bank. And looking at the attack right now, it doesn't look like it's going to work. He's just got a lot of defenses left and not a lot of hogs left. You know, he dropped a heal spell there, and at the same time a skeleton trap popped up. So, you know, he could have held for another second or two and realized that there wasn't a double bomb there and saved that heal. The king's chasing down the hog riders along with the skeletons. And he's using the poison now, but, you know, lost like 6 of them right there to a spring trap. And then now the hogs are finally, though, reaching that last defense. It's down. But the king's over here fighting with the queen. And that was just a numbers game. It was a 30 king versus a 12 queen who'd already popped her ability. So he was able to just swat her down. So you got one wizard left and a few hogs. Now this is where a lot of Goho ends up when it doesn't work. You end up taking out all the defenses, but you don't have enough juice left to finish the entire base. And that's what's going to happen with them. We'll fast forward a little bit. And right here, these hogs were just lower health, and the king's swatting them down one by one. He has very little health left either. But basically the hogs, you need several of them to get on top of the king if he's got a good amount of health and knock him down. At this point, he just needed 2. But, the hogs got on top of that gold mine, swat, swat. They finally got the king, but unfortunately now time is going to be a factor because he's lost so many hogs. But placement of traps. I mean, everybody worries about the double bombs with the Goho attack, but in reality, you can get in just as much trouble losing your hogs to spring traps. So thinking about where you place those, they can be just as important as the double bombs taking out and stopping these 3-star attacks. So we lacked a little bit in some base defense there because we really just needed to stop a few more attacks, and it could have changed the game for us as far as losing this war. But again, this was a great clan. They just kept pounding us over and over again, and we're able to use those strategies to 3-star more of our bases than we could theirs. And you can see we got a big gap here. All the way down to number 17, we weren't able to 3-star that base, and we had plenty of attacks to do it with. We just weren't able to get it done. Smeezy had the best with a 2-star against Teenage Dream here, but I can already tell you before we watch the replay, his first attempt isn't going to be a 3-star attempt. You can see he's got a Go Wipe train, and that's where we lack as a clan right now. We're not aggressive enough as far as just getting out there and trying these 3-star strategies, when in reality they can produce the same result. If he'd ran a Goho kill squad on this queen over here, it would have taken out the queen, the clan castle, and most likely he still could have produced a 2-star from this base. It's got double bombs in it, sure, but just being cautious of them, paying attention to your heals, and not letting all of your hogs clump up in the same spot, you can still take out these bases. So the double bombs are something to worry about, but it's not that big of a deal if you can just make sure that you don't let all your hogs hit it at the same time. That's where you can go terribly wrong. So you can see here with the Go Wipe, this is a level 2 queen, and he only has a level 5 queen, so they were evenly matched. But, it just wasn't a 3-star strategy, and that's why it's going to fizzle out towards the end. Go Wipes never have been a 3-star strategy. That's not what they're intended to do. They're intended to punch a core and take out as much of the base as possible, but it's just kind of random because P.E.K.K.A.s move how P.E.K.K.A.s want to move, and you can't really plot where they're going to go. They just do what they do. So let's go back to the war map here and let's take a look at a 3-star attack that we did. And we'll go up as high as we can. Slick did a real good job using his Valkyries on number 3. And I used some Valkyries against number 2 when I had my 99%, and I was happy with that. But he used 17 Valkyries here, and they just were super destructive. So what he does is, again, this is really standard stuff that everybody needs to understand. You've got to go in and take out the Archer Queen. You can't leave her unchecked. If she survives your kill squad, she's going to pick off troops one by one. But the clan castle now is running out to meet Slick's Valkyries. It was dragons and archers. The Valkyries shredded the archers before anything ever happened. The wizards came up right behind the Valkyrie and took them out. And you can just see them work in the top chamber of the base now. He's still got a jump left. His heroes have made it all the way to the core, so they're helping protect against the Expos while the Valkyries are doing their work. Some wizards have ended up behind the Valkyries, which works great because now they're tanking the attack. They all ended up on the outside of the base, which he was a little bit worried about there, but he was able to hop 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them back in right there. And so there again, they're just shredding defenses. The king's still up, the queen's still up, and now it's just a matter of a numbers game. Can they make it around and take out these defenses in time before they're able to be taken out themselves? And it worked great. You know, these Valkyries tear through walls. You know, it took, let's see, a max wall for Town Hall 9. It took them about 4 seconds to get through. The Expo's left, but the Queen's right there with them. She's still half health, and she's got a ton of stuff in front of her. So Slick did a great job on this base. And the Valkyries are just a much cooler troop now than they have been in the past because they're moving so much faster. So that's going to be a lot of fun to play with in the next couple weeks. I'll take a look at my attack just to show you why I was so irritated that I didn't 3-star this base. But it was a pretty nice looking Town Hall 9, you know, not maxed heroes yet, but, you know, I wanted to go right up the middle. At this point of the war, you know, my mentality, I wanted to definitely secure a 2-star on this base because the first attempt was the only 0-star attack of our entire war. So I sent my golems up the middle. They're tanking. I've got my wizards coming in. I want to knock out the queen. When they get to a certain point, that's going to pull the clan castle. Here they come. I didn't bring a poison spell with me here, but my thought process was if I can keep my wizards behind my golems, I'll be able to knock out the clan castle without too much trouble. I'll just heal my wizards as they go. My Valkyries went right up the middle, and I jumped everybody up the middle of the core there. They did a good job splitting up. The Expos are still distracted by the golems that are on the outskirts of the base. And so my Valkyries are just kind of moving around. Now, if they would have split on 2 different sides, I could have been in trouble there, but they actually stayed together, so they're doing a good job moving around the base. And this Tesla right here was a real problem. And that's something you don't see a whole lot on bases, but it's a great defensive tactic. If you can get a Tesla on the outside of the base right there, wearing down the troops in the core, I mean, just one by one, he's picking off my wizards. And right over there with my Archer Queen, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I was so focused on what was going on with these Valkyries over here and dropping that last heal spell, she was tanked. She had these 2 golems with her, so I looked away, and when I looked back, she had been taken down. So the king has already used his ability, and I'm running out of troops at this point. It was real close. Tesla finally got taken down by 1 wizard thanks to those little golemites. But it just became a time game. King could not get in and knock out these last 2 archer towers. The wizard gets taken out by 2 little piddly bombs. So it was just unfortunate. I really wanted that last star, but I couldn't get it. Had that golem got in front of the king? Maybe. But unfortunately, the king got picked up by the... Nope, no, I thought the king got picked off by the archer tower. I was wrong. He was just too slow. He needed a couple more seconds, he would have had her. So let's see. We had Keza take out number 5. And the thing with Keza is he is a rushed Town Hall 10. But when you look at who he gets matched against, you know, it's a Town Hall 9, and he's got some pretty good troops with all the other bases on the map. Since he hasn't built Inferno Towers yet, it really doesn't hurt us in war at all, because he has the troops to 3-star these Town Hall 9s. But this is most likely going to be a Go Wipe. He's got really strong P.E.K.K.A, got the level 6 wizards. So in this case, the Go Wipe worked for him. Not necessarily because it's a 3-star strategy, but just because his troops were able to overpower the base. So we're not even going to watch the end of this. It's going to be golems in the front, wizards in a line, wall breakers open the walls, P.E.K.K.As go inside. That's what a Go Wipe is. We'll go down now and see. So we had a huge gap there. You know, we had Slick and Keza, and then Nobody else was able to 3-star these bases. Let's take a look at the war events, and we'll look towards the end of the war and just check out some of our last couple attacks. These are what we were going for 3 stars on, trying to finish up some of these stars. We have Mr. Freeze here. Mr. Freeze is a Lava Hound enthusiast. In my opinion, Lava Hounds are the dangerous of the 2 options to try to 3-star bases with. But if you can knock out a couple air defenses with a kill squad, you've got other options using lightning spells and earthquakes for air defenses too. It just depends, you know, it depends on the layout of the base. So he's got his golem down. That Tesla right there is throwing the golem off a little bit. He's taking a lot of damage towards the beginning. The king has unfortunately completely missed the inside of the base. He's on the outside now, and he's not able to help a whole lot. Ideally, he would have been right there in that chamber in front of the archer queen, but he was not able to help. He ended up off to the side there. So the archer queen is working on the clan castle, but they knocked her out. So at this point in the attack, I think he knew that his plan had gone awry, because ideally, on this left-hand side of the base, his goal was to knock out those 2 air defenses. I don't think his original plan at all was to approach from that side of the base. I think it was going to be to approach from this side. Those 2 air defenses would have been gone, so then he could have launched from this side of the base. Even though that would have been into a sweeper, he had enough rages where he should have been able to get past those 2 air defenses there. Or he could have even chosen, with these defenses on the left gone, he could have launched his attack down here and just taken out 1 air defense at a time and not have that sweeper affect him too much. But once the battle starts, when things like that go wrong on you, it's just hard sometimes to figure out how to recover, and it's just how it is. Let's see what else we got towards the end here. Slick's second attack was against number 8 Hercules. He's trying to go Lava Loon as well. So you can see their approach here. The queen's off to the left. She's protecting that clan castle. One of the air defenses there, one of them there. So he's got his king and queen in front there. But unfortunately, it looks like the queen is just way off to the side here, so they're not going to get her, but hopefully he'll get to those air defenses. He's got a defending Lava Hound, which is just notorious for distracting troops. Not necessarily the best defender, but what he does do is just, you know, cost you some clock, because now the queen and the wizards are having to deal with that. But not necessarily the best defensive troop at all. The archer queen went down. He had her right where he wanted her, so that worked great. Queen's now working those air defenses. She's going after the clan castle, and if she takes that down, she'll head straight for the second air defense. Hopefully. You know how the troop performance is sometimes. They do what they want to do. So everything went, I think, according to plan for him at this point. He knocked out the 2 air defenses on that side, and now he's got 3 Lava Hounds and 13 balloons. He was going to try to take out the other 2 air defenses and the rest of the defenses on the base with. So he launched his 2 Lava Hounds up top there. And the first one's already popped, unfortunately. So one thing I struggle with using the Lava Loon attacks is just the timing of them. You really got to get your balloons timed out to where they're going to be right behind those Lava Hounds, but take a minimal amount of damage getting there. So now he's got that second air defense going to go down. There's 3 Teslas down there. Those are awful, though. You know, so on a base design perspective, that was a interesting but good place to put them, because from the way he approached the base, you know, now they're just tearing up his balloons, and he's still got a good portion of the base left out there. Yeah, but overall, I think time is going to be the biggest crunch factor for him. He's still got a couple balloons up. The wizard's going to do a little damage to him, but they should knock those out pretty good. But now the balloons are low health. They're not going to be able to get through those last two defenses there. But, I mean, a great 2-star attack and a good attempt. Probably better than I would have done. I think just the approach on the balloons might have been the only factor that hurt him a little bit there. Let's see what else we had towards the end of the war. We got a guy named Anal Destroyer. He tried to take on number 10. Anal Destroyer is a Town Hall 10. But, unfortunately for him, he's got these low-level heroes. He's one of the guys that rushed his base, and so he's got lots and lots of catching up to do now. And in war clans, it's not a great idea to pick up players like that. But traditionally, we haven't been an all-war clan. We value people that will come in, donate a lot of troops, help out any way they can, and aren't wanting to hop in and out of the clan all the time. You know, that's where we've been so far. So going forward, we're going to have to work a little bit on recruiting, set a little bit different standard, because we can't afford to have a lot of bases with low heroes that have already reached Town Hall 10. We just can't. 1 or 2 is okay. We should be able to, in 90% of cases, have that not affect us at all, because we have a lot of players completely opposite of that have built their heroes really well. And talking about it from the beginning, I think where that's cost us is war experience, because where some of us have spent so much time working on our heroes, we really haven't had a whole lot of time to work on our live war strategies. And so the next war we're going to do is basically just for that. We're going to go out there and just aggressively try to 3-star bases. We're not going to have any 2-star attempts. And we're just going to see how we do. Some people, I think, are a little uncomfortable. But they've got to get out of that box if we're going to be competitive when we do get matched against clans who have that kind of experience. Because we want to be able to win in any scenario, but we're going to have to step it up a bit when we get matched up against a clan that is really aggressive with 3-star strategies, because I believe we can be competitive against those guys. It's just a matter of getting comfortable and understanding the basic mechanics of how they work, because it's not that these other clans have mastered everything. I don't think anyone can do that. But they do understand some basic planning, which can help a whole lot as far as producing those 3-star attacks. So it's going to be an interesting war coming up next, and we're just looking forward to getting out there and having a little fun playing it. So we'll see what we can do, and that is about all I have to talk about today. So thanks for watching.